What is business writing? In this video, we're going to dive into that and more. Hi there, my name is Josh, and over 10 years of experience in business writing and technical writing. I'm also the founder of Technical Writer HQ. And before we dive into this video, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, and that way you won't miss any of our future videos on how to become great at business writing. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So business writing is a tool that businesses use to communicate ideas and concepts through the written word. And business writing serves multiple purposes, including informing, persuading, and promoting goodwill. Common examples of business writing include email, memos, letters, reports, and marketing material. Effective business writing is clear, compelling, and error-free. And depending on the writing style and objective, you can categorize business writing into 4 categories. So we have instructional writing, information writing, transactional writing, and persuasive writing. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these categories in more detail. Instructional writing provides the reader with the information needed to complete a task, solve a problem, or achieve a certain goal. Documents with instructional content must break down a process into steps that a reader can understand. And the language must take into account the reader's knowledge of the subject matter and the scope of the task while integrating variations or potential problems. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of instructional writing. We have user guides, such as user manuals or troubleshooting manuals, which allow customers to use a product or solve common problems much easier by using that content in those manuals as a reference on how-to information. And here's an example of a user manual for industrial automation equipment from Bosch. Memos are short notifications of new information shared with a large group in an organization. And memos can include direct instruction or can be a reference on how to complete future tasks. Now here's an example of a memo. Next, training material includes content that helps employees and customers acquire knowledge and skill required to use a product or service. And here's an example of a training offered by Microsoft for its cloud platform. And informational writing pertains to recording business information accurately and consistently. This type of writing does not necessarily require action from the readers, but it's essential for keeping them up to date on the core functions of the business. And the bulk of informational writing is report writing, which is used to capture completed work, record incidents, finalize projects, and act as an archive. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of informational writing. An annual report is a comprehensive report on a company's activities during the preceding year. It provides shareholders and other stakeholders with information about the company's activities and financial performance. And here's an example of an annual report from Cisco Systems. And then we have a press release, which is a formal announcement made by a business sharing newsworthy information relating to its latest business development. And the purpose of a press release is to generate media coverage. And here's an example of a press release from Rajan. And we have an employee handbook or an employee manual, which is a document given to employees by an employer. It contains employment and job-related information, which employees need to know. And here's an example of one type of employee handbook from Splunk. And then we have transactional writing, which consists of day-to-day communication at the workplace. Now, the majority of transactional writing is done via email, but also includes official letters, forms, and invoices. And we have a dismissal notice, which provides the necessary context and details for termination. And this is another example of this type of writing. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some more examples of transactional writing. Email is a dominant form of electronic communication used today. And here's a quick example of an email from Apple. Then we have a contract, which is a legally enforceable agreement between 2 or more parties that creates, defines, and governs mutual rights and obligations. Here's an example of a contract between NASA and SpaceX. And we have an invoice, which is a legal document that a business sends a client stating the total amount of money due for work completed. It's how a business formally requests payment for a service, provides a financial record that a job was completed, and can be used for tax or accounting purposes. Now here's an example invoice. Then we have persuasive writing, and the purpose of persuasive writing is to get the reader to take action, such as buy a product or renew a contract. Persuasive writing may be direct, with a focus on a specific item, or indirect, with a focus on developing the client relationship. The goal is twofold: to convey information and to convince the reader that the presented information offers the best value. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of persuasive writing. First, we have a grant proposal, which is a written document that aims to secure financial support for a proposed project. And here's an example of a grant proposal addressed to the National Institutes of Health for research funding. And then we have a product brochure, which is a marketing instrument used to promote a product or service offering. And here's an example of a product brochure from BASF. And marketing copy refers to material used to educate customers about a product or service and motivate them to buy it. And here's an example of marketing copy from TechSmith. And this is the same company that produces a video editing software that we're using to make this video. And the benefits of good business writing that is clear, concise, and accurate are threefold for an organization. We have revenue growth, increased sales. So you can increase conversion rates by creating professional, well-structured sales letters and proposals, grant proposals, and tender responses. A well-written executive summary that conveys your key messages can be a game changer. And clear and succinct tender responses make it easy for your clients to understand your offer, while navigation aids and a logical structure make it easier for them to find the information that they need. And we also have faster time to market. The development process for new products can be complicated, lengthy, and can fail to deliver optimal outcomes. Documenting your existing process using reader-focused process maps and content can highlight blockages, unrealistic requirements, and important dependencies. And these can provide a focus for a redesign process that better meets everyone's needs. And then we have detailed new product development project guides, which make it possible for everyone to use a consistent approach and assist new project managers to understand the entire scope. And one of the important things to know about scope is that an efficient and controlled process guided by high-quality documentation is essential for increasing the success rate of new products. And then we have customer retention. Big benefit here. You can improve customer retention through improved marketing communication that gets to the heart of what your customers actually need. And then cost reduction. And that comes with improved productivity. And we have SME, subject matter expert. So subject matter expert productivity is increased when it takes them less time to create written content, freeing them up to do their main jobs. Engineers, scientists, IT experts, and other professionals love what they do and play a major role in the success of many different companies. Yet for many, writing is often looked at as a chore that takes them away from their job. Improving SME's writing skills can greatly reduce the time that they spend on writing while better satisfying their readers' needs. And well-written content improves middle manager productivity as they have to spend less time reading, editing, and reworking their team's documents, particularly reports. And improving employee writing skills can especially help them increase the success of emails, proposals, and requests. And then we have reduced customer support costs. High-quality user documentation helps users solve problems on their own, which reduces the number of complaints and calls handled by customer support. And high-quality user documentation also helps to reduce time spent on each customer complaint, as relevant, accurate, and searchable information is now available to customer-facing teams. And then we have reduced employee turnover. High-quality documentation and written content can reduce employee turnover and the associated cost of recruitment, training, and learning of new hires. Now, poorly written communication is never a reason given for leaving. However, its effects and unintended effects can result in unhappy staff who are more likely to leave. So these include dealing with unhappy customers, blowouts in call times and numbers, high error rates, and a lack of accountability. Then we have risk mitigation, which leads to reduced accidents. Fewer accidents occur when work instructions are simple, up to date, and easy to follow. And staff is more willing to read and follow procedures when it's easy to find the information they're looking for. And clear procedures can reduce errors caused by ambiguous or conflicting content. And we also have reduced risk of lawsuits. Well-written content and documentation that contains relevant warnings, safety precautions, and accurate procedures helps to minimize product misuse, accidents, and injuries. Therefore, good business writing mitigates the risk of lawsuits and other types of legal complications that can occur because of damages and injuries caused by inaccurate information and lack of relevant safety warnings. And the other benefit here is the prevention of loss of organizational knowledge. With high staff turnover, it is increasingly important to capture employees' knowledge effectively and reduce the loss of organizational learning. The business world is highly competitive, and high-quality business writing is a major factor that can help organizations grow and thrive. And here are 10 essential principles for effective business writing. We have clarity of purpose. Every piece of content or business document must have a clear purpose. Whether you're writing an email or creating a marketing campaign, you need to know why you're writing it. And knowing what you want to achieve with your writing makes it easier to write it down. And having a clear purpose enables you to write accurately. It also makes it easier for the reader to understand your message. And the second one here is clarity of thought. Clarity of thought is essential for effective writing. You need to think about what you want to write before putting it down on paper. When your thinking is clear, it becomes easier to organize your thoughts and present them logically. And clarity of thought also helps you avoid mistakes in your writing. It also assists you in effectively structuring your document. And disorganized thinking is reflected in writing, which can make it difficult for the reader to understand what you're trying to convey. And therefore, before you start writing, take some time to really think about what you want to write. And of course, identify your target audience. Every document that you write is aimed at a specific audience. It could be your supervisor, colleagues, customers, or business partners. And knowing your target audience makes it easier for you to understand and write according to their needs. For instance, if you write a business report or a business memo, you need to use a formal tone. On the other hand, you can use a friendly and persuasive tone if you're writing a marketing email. By understanding the needs of your target audience, you can create documents that meet their expectations. You also want to use appropriate tone. The tone of your document influences the reader. You need to have an engaging tone to make your document readable. And the tone of your document also depends on the type of audience you're writing for. And you want to align the tone of your document with the purpose of writing. For instance, your tone should be persuasive and friendly if you're writing a sales letter. On the other hand, your tone should be formal and objective if you're writing a report. That's why the use of an appropriate tone can make your documents effective and help you achieve your goals. And next is you want to use active voice, because passive voice often creates unclear, less direct, wordy sentences, whereas active voice creates a clear, more concise sentences. Therefore, it's vital to use an active voice in business writing, and you want to share accurate and relevant information. Accuracy and relevancy are crucial for written business documentation. Any false or irrelevant information can damage your credibility and reputation. Therefore, before sharing information, make sure to verify its accuracy. It's also essential to ensure that the information is relevant. Including irrelevant information will only make your documents lengthy and more difficult to read. It will also distract your reader from the main message. And you should work to avoid jargon. Jargon refers to special words or expressions used by a profession or group that are difficult for others to understand. Using acronyms and industry-specific buzzwords can make a business document complex, and it can confuse the reader, and the reader might lose interest. Therefore, avoid jargon when writing a business document. And instead, use words and phrases that everyone can understand. You also want to practice with passion. If you want to stand among competent business writers, you need to have a passion for writing. You can improve your writing skills with regular practice, and the more you practice writing business documents, well, the easier it will become for you to keep writing business documents that really drive their purpose home. And you want to set aside time every day to improve your writing skills and write on different topics and in various formats. It'll help you understand the various elements of effective business writing. And while practicing, focus on grammar, sentence structure, and vocabulary. And as you keep practicing, you'll develop your own writing style and voice. You also want to use proper grammar and make your content easy to scan. And it's important to know proper grammar is essential for all types of business writing. Grammatical mistakes make your document look unprofessional and make it difficult for the reader to comprehend the message you are trying to convey. You also need to pay attention to the structure of the document and use appropriate headings, bullets, and lists to break down the wall of text into content that's easy to scan. And we have proofread. Proofread can help you identify errors in your written content. And you need to proofread your content before sharing it inside or outside your organization. And you can use tools built into word processors and content management systems to check and remove errors. You can also take help from online tools such as Grammarly to check your content for spelling, grammar, punctuation, clarity, engagement, and delivery mistakes. And there you have it. We just covered what is business writing, the types of business writing, the benefits of it, and principles for effective business writing as well. And thank you for watching this video and sticking with me all the way to the end. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the founder of Technical Writer HQ. If you feel like you now have a better understanding of the topic, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and that way you'll get tons of content on how to become a better business writer. And I'll go ahead and see you in some of our following videos. Cheers.